What's up, everyone? Josh White here with the HeroFront podcast, and I'm just fired up right now and humbled because I just got done talking to one of my good friends and mentors, Master Sergeant Blythe Cooley, stationed at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Sergeant Cooley had a very low moment early on in her life as an airman. It's something that's really hard to talk about, and yet Sergeant Cooley understands that others hearing her journey could really learn something from it. It's very relatable, and I wanted to thank her for sharing that with us here today. I think you're going to really love this episode because of how transparent and open she is with her own struggles, and she just the way she expresses it is just so honest. It's just very honest, and and anyone can relate to this story. She talks about how most things are temporary, right? And sometimes we got to remind ourselves of that. She goes into some of her self-love strategies, and that it's very important to know what your resources are and to use them. They're there for a reason. She's also big on controlling only the things that you can control in your life. So she hits on a lot of really good strategies from someone who went from wanting to end their own life to living their absolute best life. So without further ado, this is the hero's journey of my friend, Master Sergeant Blythe Cooley. Let's get after it.
I guess I really didn't know what the world was like outside of that small town. So you call me naive, gullible, whatever the case may be, but I was definitely that. And, going into military, being surrounded by people from all walks of life, different mentalities, different values, different characters, right? So I kind of latched on to people. I definitely was codependent around the age of 18. I didn't really have a self, like I haven't developed myself at that point in time. So I latched on to a lot of people and kind of let people use me, kind of walk all over me, and tried to adapt who I was based off people's reactions to me. And it ended up biting me in the butt, like hard. People act a certain way to your face and then not so the same, to other people. So had a boyfriend, thought I was in love, 18, and he crushed me. He crushed my soul. Decided to hook up with other people. And I was in denial for a very long time. But then one night, I'll never forget watching Pirates of the Caribbean. And, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the lies, the cheating, the fakeness of everyone around me. And, I attempted suicide. That felt like the only way out. And long and behold, that boyfriend at the time found me, took me to the ER and saved my life. Went through a lot of therapy. And the shirt at the time said I had two choices. It can help me out of the military, or it can get me the help I need to stay in. And so I knew I didn't want to get out. So I got the help I needed to stay in. And that was the choice I made. And I can't even explain the type of emotions or feelings I had throughout that process. Because it was like scraping down everything who I thought I was to try to discover who I truly was. And finding out who my true friends were and like who actually cared and loved Blythe Micah at the time. And I'll tell you, there wasn't many, but I was okay with it. I was okay with it because you only need one person to have your back, one person to hear your truth, one person to support you. That's all you need. I don't care what anyone says. You don't need a crowd. So I found about 3. One was my mom, and I made healthy relationships for the first time, probably my whole life. I just didn't realize it until I hit rock bottom. It took me that to realize that. And it was a good feeling, after everything was said and done, to kind of figure out or try to start finding who I was. And I couldn't have done without those people. I really couldn't. I can't explain, and I'm sure other people may have felt it, but to tell yourself that you don't want to do this anymore and then go through with trying to make that a reality, it's rough. It's rough.
Wow, that is so tough. That's even hard to hear, just knowing you now and picturing you in that kind of moment, that kind of weakness. And they say suicide attempts are just that. They're in that moment.
They are.
If you can get that person through that moment, they have a good chance of, surviving and moving on in their life and learning these coping skills. So it's scary when that moment happens, and you're just so vulnerable that you get broke down to nothing, like you said. When you initially woke up, what was going through your head?
I'm gonna be frank. I was mad. I was so mad because that's not what I wanted.